episode 15, Late Night Owl. It's April 22nd. Let's do it. Let's do it. What's up? What's up? What's up? How you guys doing?
Okay, how's it going?
All right. I just woke up, so it's uh it's gonna be a long late night for me. uh, all right. Today's topic's gonna be the negative and positive views people have for anime. I thought it would be like a pretty cool debating topic. So, uh, is there anything you want to start off with, or you want me to just like give like a I don't know, just say like a general uh, like opinion?
In my experience, it's generally there's generally a negative like stigma attached to like anime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I first started, it was in I don't know how long ago was that, but like back then it was generally like unknown, like it was kind of weird. People would be like, you know, it looks like weird cartoons, and that's where it was at.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. But it's been much more. Well, it got a lot better, but definitely there's still that negative aspect of what anime is or the view that people have for it. I think it's just because the most viewed aspect of it is like uh, the fan service is mostly what's big and what people who doesn't like it actually sees. There's like a lot of different genres and stuff like that, but it's the fan services that kind of turn people off.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's like a lot of what I realize is like the most popular genre would be like shonen, right? And
right.
so a lot of the anime's writers does is they over sexualize women, right? Women are depicted as sexual objects because the target audience, which is teenage boys, generally those perception of girls aren't as clear. They're barely getting to know the what's it called, the opposite sex, right?
Yeah.
That's what I believe is the reason why it's just been like that for so long.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the audience they're trying to attract. So obviously, there's going to be a little bit of like fan service in there. And generally, like, it's kind of unavoidable. Like, almost every series has some sort of fan service attached.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. There's counter arguments to this as well. I could say like there's some fan services that people enjoy, but generally, I just think that it, like, just for example, if you show like a complete, I don't know, like maybe someone like a Westerner anime, right? And then you just show them like a really lewd anime scene or whatever with like a bunch of chicks, and you know, I don't think that they would be like, oh shit, that's pretty cool. Right? I mean, like I would think that they would be like, what the fuck am I watching? It's like, this is what anime is called, or this is what anime is. Like if you show them those kind of stuff, I don't know.
Well, I mean, a lot of it is just like different perception from the West compared to like Japan, right? I mean, a lot of our, I feel like we kind of like separate a lot of the Western,
Hmm.
uh, like media. It's like we keep it separate for some reason. We just,
Yeah, it's like a culture thing, right? So
yeah,
you're pretty much exposing Japan's culture over to other foreign countries, and for them to accept that culture is also like a big deal, right? Yeah,
yeah,
it's starting to show, and there's a little more appreciation now, but there's still that negative uh, aspect of it. But yeah, that's just I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like just a time thing where time fixes those things. It's not something that we could actually do. Maybe like for one, I think having the Ghost in the Shell or the Alita movie, um, what's it called? Adaptation is really good.
right.
Like yeah, like slowly showing like the culture and everything. I think it's a good way to you know slowly put our or not our but like Japan's culture to at least America. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't.
little bit about like slow immersion.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's how it happens to everyone, right?
Hmm.
You start watching some stuff and you realize that no, this isn't Western stuff. It's different, and then you kind of like get into it, accept it a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But would you say like what? Okay, so what would be the most or the main thing or the main reason why a lot of people think that anime is like in a more negative way, or if you think if it's in the negative way, why would that reason be?
I think that a lot of it is kind of like our perception of what the West thinks that cartoons are
Hmm.
versus like what Japan thinks cartoons are, which they don't really they don't really separate their animated shows by like or there's not like an age limit for animated shows for them.
Hmm.
Basically, like there's an animated show for every age group. Like it doesn't matter to them.
Mm.
Whereas in America we have like Saturday morning cartoon level, you know,
Yeah,
just general kid stuff.
yeah,
And now I guess we have a lot more like adult cartoons now where it's just like Rick and Morty and like I can't think of others like The Simpsons.
yeah. Family Guy and South Park and stuff like that. But it's like obviously the art style and everything is totally different, and the baseline of how much they could show is kind of limited, right?
Right.
Yeah, I guess it's like a culture thing where I think Japan's just like more free of those kind of sexual stuff, so it's kind of like
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, it doesn't even matter. Yeah. And then the I don't know if it was because or based on like foreigners that enjoyed the anime uh scene, but Japan started to adapt this term called otaku, which is someone, a guy or girl, that likes the hobby, or I don't know if it would be considered a hobby, but um,
Sure, yeah.
yeah, those people who like all the anime things or anything that's associated with anime. And it'll be like really hardcore, right? It wouldn't be someone that'll just like casually watch one or two or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, uh, so Yeah, not sure on
Yeah,
how it got developed, but yeah, definitely.
but that's definitely like a pretty modern thing, right? For this like otaku stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't really have it until like it really started to go overseas, and like we started seeing like an unhealthy fascination with some of these, with all these shows.
Right, right. Um, well, I think we're just like bashing on like the negative aspect of anime as well, but there's definitely positive things too. Like, I'm trying to think of uh, like like an American cartoon that has sports related uh, like things. I'm trying to think of one. Do you know? Do you happen to know any?
Like cartoons that are what?
They just like have the whole sports theme in there. Like for example, Japan covers for anime and things. It's not like far off the base of what like the imagination can take. It's actually like pretty similar to what that sport is. Like for example, Prince of Tennis, right? It's like really
Yeah.
popular. It's everyone knows it if you know anime, but there's some obviously weird moves and stuff like that that they over exaggerate, but
Yeah.
in terms of like just strictly an anime for sports, so they cover like what I'm trying to say is there's different genre of anime for people who doesn't enjoy like those specific like lewd anime, and I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
That's like a
Okay.
really good like positive uh, aspect of having the anime culture.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of strange that that's a really common thing in Japan, but like they take like fairly ordinary ordinary things and they like capture the imagination and like really get you into it. Like definitely a lot of people have seen Prince of Tennis and like maybe tennis is pretty cool and like gotten into it.
Yeah, yeah. There'll be people who will be influenced and maybe start tennis and everything. So
Yeah.
there's definitely that as well.
It's interesting that with the animated genre you can pretty much do anything you want and they stick to pretty mundane stuff.
All right.
And
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to think of uh, like a American cartoon that has like some sport based
yeah, it's hard, right?
topic. Yeah, I'm trying to think of one. Maybe I could Google it.
Taking too long.
Yeah. Oh, welcome. Glad you could join us, Ed.
Been here out this whole time, as
All
the
right.
spooky goes.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't even find anything. That's crazy. So, in terms of having a different or having a more broader uh, like genre of anime, like different types of anime, I think
Right.
it's fine. It's like a positive thing, right? You're not strictly stuck with one topic versus a lot of the other cultures, like the other besides Japan, they're kind of stuck with the one. I guess it would be like action, a lot of action and family based stuff, and then they would strictly just stick with that. And then it's because we have or they have those types of uh, or their whole childhood, they're like, you know, um, just growing up with all those type of things that they're kind of like drawn aback when it comes to anime. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, uh, I think that's definitely a problem that we have. Like, I can't name any other cartoons, right?
Yeah.
I can pretty much only think of the like superhero ones, like Spider-Man. What growing up watching Spider-Man, or like Teenage Mutant
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. There's like,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I can't name a single other one.
Yeah, it's crazy because you realize that they're all pretty much the same, just different storylines and characters and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, like Street Sharks or Gargoyles or like Looney Tunes and stuff like that. They're all following.
They're all
Was that?
they're all like for kids, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're really for kids. Like all the cartoons, like Scooby Doo. Um, what else is on Cartoon Network? Like Kim Possible, whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's more recent though, right?
yeah, but if you watch the cartoons, you realize that they're not as complex, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
they're
right,
childish. They're very childish, and I think the reason why people have a bad stereotype when it comes to anime is because they've seen cartoons themselves, and when you see an adult who enjoys cartoons, it looks like an overgrown child, and nothing is uglier than an old infant, right? Especially
right.
when you're a woman.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. Our minds are kind of like closed off from what what a cartoon could be.
Mm-hmm.
It's There's just one genre for us, so I don't. You can't really blame people for how they perceive anime, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, and it's an advantage to have like stereotypes, right? Because like when people like I think what determines what's cool is always like I think women get to choose, even though I might sound sexist, and I think it's because women on like an ancient level or whatever, they make men more self-conscious. So if women, right, liked guys who, you know, drank from blue uh canisters, like a billion guys would just go out there and just buy blue canisters, and they won't like buy like Lamborghinis or whatever, right? I feel like that's a weird analogy, but I'm trying to think of like something as stupid as possible that if it was cool and women thought it was cool, then like guys would jump on that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah.
So anime is not cool.
Uh,
That's why there's that otaku stigmatism to it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it makes a lot of sense too. Like if you guys were girls, like what would your first impression of like if you're like looking for a potential, if you see thing about this guy, but he comes off as an otaku, your impression be?
Like even if I'm not a girl, I'd still be turned off about seeing like a dude that's like weirded out. They're not like I mean they are human beings, but in my mind they'll be like less less than like I would appreciate the dedication because that's a lot of dedication to have, for something that you like, which is good. But in terms of something that's not useful to the world, I guess you could say it's not. I wouldn't like
No, that's good. That's a good example.
But there's like, yeah, there's so many different things, right? Regardless, like you could be really fit or um, have a lot of cars and stuff like that, which isn't really beneficial. Yeah, maybe there is, like, as a car, you could drive it around and stuff like that. But I mean, like having over excessive luxurious cars and stuff like that, I don't think it would fit in the same category as being a otaku.
Why?
Well, like I
Like,
said, like besides the fact that it's a car and it'll drive from point A to point B, if you have like I'm talking like those Lamborghinis and stuff like that.
yeah, but if you have that, what would that imply? Like, is there a stereotype that comes with that?
What do you mean?
So if you go into a room and you find like a room like decorated with nothing but like otaku shit,
Mm-hmm.
like posters, anime pillows, figurines, or whatever,
Yeah.
you'll have a certain stereotype. But if you go into remember, you don't know these people. You go into another friend's room or someone and then or a house, and they have like Lamborghinis just decked out,
Mm-hmm.
like in their garage. Like, what would the stereotype be? That's why I want to see like the difference.
Well, I'm just talking in terms of what like there's like gold diggers or whatever, right? And then there's people who enjoy those types of things versus
Well, women, like, saying that they're gold diggers, like there's a reason why they're gold diggers, right? Like, because they're selecting a mate, and
mm-hmm.
gold diggers have, like, they're generalizing on something, right? Like,
Right.
if you have a car, it means that you're they think like you're not maybe an overgrown child, that maybe you put some work in and afford that Lamborghini with a stable, good paying job,
Right. Yeah.
right? Right? But when they come and see an otaku room, they see and they think you're an overgrown child because you have all these things that they associate with kids, right? Like a cartoon, saying it's a I don't think it works, right? Because it's a different comparison.
Yeah, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is there's the pros and cons for everything, You can't
Yeah,
generalize like, everything as the same.
right. But then what would your justification be? Like, what if he's an otaku in his room, but he has a Lamborghini? Like, would that help it? Right?
Probably.
Would that help it?
uh I guess like I don't know. I think in more of a basic term, like the female strives for like a stronger male, right? Like someone that could protect them. It doesn't have to, maybe it doesn't have to have like a physical qualification. It could be like mental or materialistic. So there's different types of masculinity, right? And
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like
And
for the otaku
there is no
culture,
masculinity. Is what you're
they
trying to say?
suffer on so it's not just one.
Mm-hmm.
They suffer in when women judge their IQ. They suffer when women judge their EQ, and when which is emotional quotient, which is emotional intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
and then they judge you based on your FQ, right, which is your financial quotient or your financial intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
right? Women look for all these things, and when they see like an otaku culture, like it hits them in on so many levels,
Mm-hmm.
right? For example, people who are otaku are generalized to have bad speaking abilities. They have bad verbal comprehension. They can't talk to women. They're
So,
antisocial,
yeah.
right? So that signals to them as they have bad financial intelligence, right? Because your social ability and your speaking ability lets you invest. It lets you, go out, get credit, and it lets you have a career and income, right?
Yeah.
And then you have these. Sometimes you have like lewd figurines hanging around, or you have like posters of imaginary or like anime girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for women, that signifies that you have bad EQ, right? You have like no self-aware, you have no empathy towards real women, right? You're empathizing with the wrong thing, right? And you're not really motivated to do anything that's like, it seems like you're not motivated to have like a real world contribution. So that means you have it. It seems like you have no motivation or ambition to pursue anything real.
Mm-hmm.
So your EQ is probably bad, right? Like you're spending with these fake girls and not building any.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hurt in their intelligence thing too, right? Because people who are who's they're not necessarily that smart in a way, right? Like you think they're like computer nerds or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but then if they're computer nerds, then they would have it depends on their status, right? If they're really smart, they're like the head programmer of some company, right? Like women will notice that, and then they can forgive you based on your whatever you have in your room, right? And that doesn't happen for everyone usually, and that's why like Vaughn said, right? There's scum of society, like neats, right? They're not employed, whatever, right? They're sometimes cross-lined with otakus, even though they're different.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're smart enough to have a job, maybe they can work on their own, but they're not intelligent enough to like contribute to society. And I think that's why like it just hurts them on so many levels.
Yeah. So what you're saying is like in general, the whoever's likes anime or is associated with it is pretty much useless.
Yeah, they're gonna suffer. It's like a really bad stigma,
It's
and
yeah,
it probably will never go away. I feel like.
and it's just like an unsuccessful trait that just turns women off, and then they just suffer from that no matter what, unless they actually
only
do something
see
about that.
I only see there's like the benefit in pursuing guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's actually an advantage that I see, because if you had a impaired relationship with a guy before, then when you see a child or an overgrown infant, you can dominate them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think women will settle because there's a momentary pleasure in being able to dominate your partner. And
Mm.
then your partner gets the advantage of not taking any responsibility, but it doesn't work
Okay.
because it's a sub optimal solution that hurts both parties, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But then yeah, I can see like why they'll go for like otakus maybe.
Yeah. Well, obviously, this would also go for gamers. Well, I guess it is a different genre, but like for gamers, there's like the the women that'll actually go for gamers that's really dedicated because they have that dedication. But I do realize that there are tournaments and stuff like that. There's a way of earning money, so it could also be an occupation. I guess you can't really make being an otaku an occupation, but
Yeah, because there's no hierarchy in being an otaku unless you can create one,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
If if you're like if you're so hardcore at anime and you make something that makes you on top of the hierarchy,
mm,
like you're the go-to guy when you talk about anime and people recognize you for that, right? Like that's different. And it's really difficult to do that with anime. But with
mm,
games it's easier, like you said, there's tournaments, right? Like
yeah,
people get together to make a hierarchy. There's shitty gamers and then there's pro gamers. And the pro gamers demonstrates a lot of right. They demonstrate that they're smart because usually games that have tournaments require um, processing speed, working memory, and like perception reasoning. So that's
Mm-hmm.
part of IQ, right? And to get to a tournament, you probably need a team usually. Like night tournament or League of Legends, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that has social skills in it. So that has your EQ. You can work in a team. You're in front of media, right? So you have good emotional intelligence. So women find that attractive. And then you have winning, the earning, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
win money. So that has a good financial intelligence to it. Even though it's just an indicator, it's like they don't know that for sure, but there's money.
I think in terms of trying to help the otaku out, I think if you just become a photographer, you could say that you could be an otaku because there's more women who likes cosplay, and there's a lot more and more, and it just like keeps growing. So in terms of like income and having I don't know, like a really good perspective of how to take a picture, I guess being a photographer and an otaku may or may not be beneficial, because at least that way you don't have to suffer from not or knowing so much about anime but not being able to associate it with society. I don't know. That's my take, at least for um, anime lovers. Just be a photographer.
You gotta find something you can climb. I mean, it's a thing, right? Like it's like people will judge you, but then there's like you have to like kind of like entertain the possibility of why.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's not like gaming at all. Like like people love games, like games aren't, they've been around like forever. Like you play them till you get old and you die. Like you play chess with kings, and you play with your child, you play with your grandpa. People love games. They require IQ, and they require some sociability to it. And and it's like anime, it's something passive, and it's closely associated to cartoons. But I know there's really good anime out there that there's positive things to it, right? Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
story. It exposes you to the Japanese culture. It gives you insights on relationships sometimes. It teaches you about life, and because it's animated, it can be shown in ways that movies can't.
Mm-hmm.
But now that CGI is really, it kind of can, but like like an unrealistic medium, I guess, to tell stories. I feel like it's always better because I think it helps with your imagination more. Like you get a different effect, right? Like if you see a live action and you see an anime version, like it's a different feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't relate as much on a metaphysical level as to something um, that feels like it's tangible and realistic, whereas if something is more artsy and less realistic, there's like a self-conscious level that you can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I think when you think about things in your mind, it's not all realistic, right? Like you can put colors in what you see in your mind, like you can make anything happen, and that I feel like touches your soul a little bit more or better.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, I don't doubt that. But come on, man. I gotta think of like the positive side. Positive side of anime, man.
Yeah, isn't that positive? Like you learn so much,
That's
right?
like passive aggressive. Like
I
I
don't
don't know.
think so. I wasn't trying to be passive. I mean, like you do. Like you learn about relationships. You learn about life lessons. You learn about the ugly side of human nature. and the importance of communication, something like that.
Yeah, so pretty much the same thing as uh, what like I'm watching a regular movie, right? So it's the same thing because obviously you're doing the same thing. You're just sitting on the couch or whatever and just watching and learning.
Yeah, but it depends on how you which anime to watch too, right? Because the things with cartoons is they all have like a certain formula to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you watch old cartoons or just any cartoons for like kids like 4 to 8, if you really watch them, you will learn nothing new. They're silly, they're funny, they might have like a little moral to them, but
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing new. It doesn't expose you to any culture. It doesn't have any deep archetypical themes usually, and you don't learn any like real things about relationship,
Mm.
right? Like maybe friendship, but not like romantic relationship usually. Like you're not immersed in like a certain character. Like you don't learn about hard work or patience or that's more of like teens, and then it goes up past that, right?
What about Sesame Street?
Yeah, what do you get from Sesame Street? You get nothing as an adult, right? If you watch that with your kids, you probably like find joy that your kids learn it yourself. You'll be like, this is stupid, unless Dave Chappelle makes a a joke about it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, because you don't learn what you learn your ABCs. You already know that, right? You learn them like, okay, this they treat that garbage guy like shit. Okay, yeah, but there's not like any deep level meaning to it,
They got
unless it that way. Then God help you.
well, for one, it teaches you how to be a pimp.
Yeah, but that's an adult interpretation now, right? Like they're not trying to teach you that.
Oh, that and
That
yeah,
that's
for the
not
kids, yeah.
that's not the theme, right? It's just we're trying to make this shit as interesting as possible because it's boring as shit.
And yeah, well, is it still around? I don't even know. I know as a kid, I kind of avoided watching that. But yeah, I guess it's been around for a very long time. So then, what's the purpose of watching anime? Why do we even watch anime? It's for just purely entertainment, right?
Yeah, it's entertainment. You don't need to entertain yourself for any other reason other than you enjoy it. I mean, you don't need a positive reason to watch a movie or
Or smoke weed.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just I wouldn't say, damn, what's the word for it? It's not substance, but just something that will keep your time off of things.
Yeah, and because if you don't have like entertainment or distraction, um, actually this one's hard. Difficult. I feel like I'm just gonna rant. Never mind.
Well, what's the topic or what are you trying to go with? The reason why people watch it? Oh, well,
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I feel like it's a good distraction sometimes because if you don't have any kind of entertainment, then you start to like contemplate too much about life.
mm-hmm.
But then on the same token is that might be your fault. So then that's why I didn't want to get into it.
Well, that's because you have a choice.
Well, it comes back to the thing as I was saying, right? Like what makes anime so bad is because people associate you with being childish, like you're immature. And like I said, there's really nothing uglier than an old infant, right? Like people who don't grow up don't in their life
Mm.
through difficult times, and they are certain to encounter difficult times, right? And like, yeah. And you know what do you have? You like if you have anime, that's not gonna sustain you, you know.
In your resume, just put a dedicated anime watcher or otaku for 10 plus years. It's like, hey, well, this guy at least has dedication. He's been sticking with it. Damn, man. Well, anyways, we're trying to figure out. Like, I don't know. For some reason, everything that we say is coming off as a negative, negative view. But yeah, obviously, there's some positive views as well. But the negative overweighs the positive.
I mean, we've seen anime, right? I mean, it's human nature to focus on the negative aspects of the things that you enjoyed.
Yeah.
Just happen. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
it is
there's positive things to anime. I'm just saying that because of its nature and its medium, that it will have more bad stereotypes associated with just by nature, right? Just how we because we stereotype people as a way to simplify our world, right? We want to reduce the amount of processing and thinking we have to do when we meet a new person,
Mm-hmm.
and who's like, oh, we think he's an otaku. Even if you're an otaku, you will have that stereotype against them
Right.
because like I said, it hits on so many fundamental levels. And even though there's a positive side to it, it's like it's not a lot, right? Because that positive part can be extracted and put into another medium that has less bad stereotype against it.
It's pretty much it's categorized as a hobby, right? Just watching anime. So it's something that you do in your spare time. It's like a enjoyment, like an activity done, a regular activity done. It's enjoyment. So making that as like I don't know, using that as like a money based type thing may not be the case or may not be good, but it's
Yeah, but
still a
you can,
hobby.
right? Yeah, and a lot of people have been successful at that, right? Like there's like people on YouTube getting millions of views that analyze like One Piece or they talk about Naruto. Like those people are making bank, you know? They're entertainers now, right? They're content creators. You know, they take in responsibility in some kind of realm to help make the world bigger or better by giving you better entertainment in the ways that they see fit. So I think that's a positive thing for them, right? It definitely can be a positive thing.
Okay, so in terms of that, like that would be the positive side of being. Would that be considered otaku?
But it's not a stereotype, right? It's not a positive stereotype. Like when
No,
you see an otaku, you're like, oh man, he probably makes a lot of bank talking about anime online. Like, no, you probably think he's a lazy piece of shit. Like, stereotype yet? No, probably not.
but I mean, it is one way of formulating, or I mean, generating money in terms of being an otaku.
Right,
Like
but
you found a
I'm saying
way.
is it a
It's
stereotype?
yeah, it's in general, no, it's or the general otaku, it's not. It's just like the handful that figured out a way, right?
Yeah, that's why like the lesson is to like try to get to know that person before you know, maybe.
But it doesn't work because we
Yeah,
already
because
have that first impression, which
we
is
don't have time. Yeah, that's why you know it's not recommended to like talk about anime on your like first meeting. You know,
yep.
it's like you
yeah.
talk about other stuff and then you ease in, right?
Yeah,
break down
it's
their
something
guard.
you let them like discover about you.
Yeah,
Yeah, a nerdy side.
yeah, because now they have other parts of the equation to balance it out. It's like, man, this guy has a room full of REM pillows, but he has a Lamborghini.
Yeah, as long as the pros overweigh the cons.
Yeah, because it comes down to like the halo effect too. You guys know about that? It's like this term in like philosophy where if you see someone do a good deed as your first impression, you think they're a good person.
Mhm.
And it works the other way around, right? If you see someone do something bad, then you automatically assume they're a bad person.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't share that you're an anime otaku unless you have something, a pro or something more positive that you have in your life.
Play the problem, as I was saying, right? You want to hand out your best cards first before you or show your best cards before you you show them the Yu-Gi-Oh one.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go share what you wanted to share this week. Set the manga anime dojishin.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
there's this anime movie that I want to watch. It's called Penguin Highway.
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes out this month in theaters. So it's about it's kind of like a family movie. People were saying it's like Ghibli. So it's about a like a boy genius. Um, he like he likes building stuff. Uh, he finds out one day that there's an attack on his city by mysterious penguins, right? Like penguins are coming out of his den,
Mm-hmm.
and then him and this other girl like go on an adventure to try to solve the mystery of why penguins are appearing in their town.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's all like the trailer and the summary told us. But it looks really cool, so you should check it out. It's called Penguin Highway.
This is in like like U.S. theaters or
Yeah,
only
it's
Japan or?
gonna be played in U.S. theaters too, or
Oh damn.
at least we're around.
Oh damn, that's crazy. That's interesting. That's like a full-on anime, and then they're actually gonna release it here as well in the movie theaters. Okay. I like how they're actually slowly implementing the anime scene into the.
Yeah, and they're being smart about it, right? They're introducing anime with a lot of depth and meaning about life, right? Like they don't just bring like shitty stuff like
Queen's Blade, man, straight off the bat.
yeah, they don't bring like those really otaku stuff, right? They try to
Mm-hmm.
bring like yeah, because when the Westerners go see these movies, now it changes their stereotype about anime, right? They go
Mm-hmm.
see it, they're like, oh shit, this anime was brilliant, right? We learned so much, it's beautiful, it's like now they'll go see another one, and they're doing really good, right? They brought Mirai no Mirai like a while back, and then now they're bringing Penguin Highway, so they're doing good.
Yeah, they're playing their best cards first.
Yeah, then and it's all over.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, the art style kind of looks like not Miyazaki Hayao, but the Summer Wars. Okay. I'll shit. I'll go watch it. Maybe not in theaters. I'll be a otaku and stay indoors. Be antisocial and watch it in front of my computer. All right. And there you have it. That's the topic for today. And now, I mean, I thought, there'd be more, like a bigger debate for anime, but kind of touched on the base of everything. So,
Wait, what? You thought it would be more positive?
I mean, we had the negative aspect and the positive aspect, right? So, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's more in detail, but I don't know. We just cleared it pretty
Yeah, the
quickly. So,
details.
fucking shit, man. I don't know. What else? What else is there? I don't know. Anything that you guys want to talk about then? In my mind, I was just thinking about whatever the positive and negative of anime, but in terms of, I think, um, Googling anime and then like if you don't know anything about anime and then you Google anime, they'll probably give you like let's just say the best 10 or the top 10 anime or stuff like that. I don't think that's a good way of searching it, I guess. I think if you have friends that watch it, that's the best. But obviously, if you don't have any, then I don't know. I guess that's what you have to deal with. But mm, it requires a lot of research, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's like a different topic, I think, right?
Yeah, I
Like
know.
if you just want to talk about positive, negative, like we could do that.
Okay,
Like
yeah, go ahead, sure.
I think it's half and half. Like it's not that bad. But when it
Yeah,
comes to stereotypes, like holy shit, negative stereotypes wins. Like you know,
it's
it's like
starting.
you can't win. You can't win, even if you think like it's becoming cool. It's cool to girls, and it's cool for women who want weak men. It's not cool for real women. Yeah,
I
no,
mean, I can't argue with that. So there's no argument. So there goes.
yeah, I'm serious. Like, okay, people who go and cosplay and like whore themselves, it's like no different than being a stripper or like a slutty model, right? Like you're tainting your image, and you think you can cover be someone else. Like you're doing the same thing, and it's like you're still showing your ass and your tits, and even though you're someone else, like ugh, I don't know. Do you want to be glorified as an imaginary, I guess, whore?
Well, it's like a time thing, right? Time pretty much will cure that type of thing. Obviously, or I think it's a lot better now. It's slowly like adapting to the at least for America. I don't know about freaking Europe or whatever, but yeah, it's starting to get better at least. And as for what you said, I mean, as long as we have the females wanting to cosplay as someone that they're not, that means that more guys will jump on the boat. Yeah, over time. So pretty much, you just gotta wait it out.
Well, this one is because guys otakus already liked anime, and girls are jumping in their boat, which is something that we've never seen before, right?
Motherfucker.
It's not like a bunch of guys just hang out at the strip club with no girls, right? They're just there chilling at a bar, and then all of a sudden these strippers come and just start stripping. This is what's happening, right? like otakus have been going to these cons for so long, the Comic Con to whatever anime con, and then all of a sudden these girls start coming dressing slutty and they get all these attention from these otakus. It's different, right? It's the first time I've ever seen like a girl chasing dudes. I've never seen that.
Why would you? Okay, so in your for for your reasoning, it's because there's these females that wants to take care of like, or they have like that. I don't know. I want to say motherly. Would it be like a motherly, um, like guarding someone that's weaker type aspect? Is the reason why they're actually trying to chase this?
I feel like it's split in between. I
Mm-hmm.
think some girls are smart enough to know that they can make money, easy money in this field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like girls been doing that this whole time. Like they'll, if you're pretty, of course you could do like pretty waitering job, pretty hostess job. You can be a bar girl. Like you don't have to whore yourself, right? You don't have to be a stripper. Like you don't have to be an escort.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can do these things, and they find that they can create their own job by being an Instagram model, like a cosplayer, and they can get sponsored and they can do that. What I'm saying is that some girls, they don't do that too, but they don't do that. And what they do is they actually go after these guys even though they have that negative stereotype against them. I know there's like a minority that are like otakus. I'm speaking in general, okay? I'm not speaking for the whole gender of women, but I'm seeing that usually from what I've seen or from what I've read that um, women like weak men because something happened to their psychology, like their mental health, I guess, that impaired them, and they feel the need to be able to dominate weak men, right? And what's a better place to find weak men than a horde of otakus?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the people who go to Comic Con, like they're rich, they have money, right? But money is not really a good indicator of what women are looking for. Like that Lamborghini is not money. It symbolizes something else, right? Like that house is not money, right? Money comes and goes. Like what they're looking for is stability and status, right? How do you maintain that car? How do you maintain that house? Right? That's different. Maintain your money. Like it's very hard for you to like you shouldn't compare like money with wealth.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Um, yeah. I mean, I can't argue with that. So there's no debate. Well, shit. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just that women are starting to realize that otakus, they spend so much money on like those figurines, or like spends time watching anime, that they're finally catching on that they actually have money.
Yeah, and like
And then they're
okay,
leeching off of
like
it.
they're smart, right? Like they're so smart because like if you're a cosplayer, right, and these guys like since they're like sometimes they're awkward or shy, like you can get money from them by doing nothing, right? Like you
Yep.
can just cosplay and print pictures of yourself, and then they'll pay you like hundreds of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's so smart. Like you don't even have to go to a strip club. Like you don't even have to have a professional photographer. Like you can just have like your tits out, dress up as their favorite character, like in a slutty way,
Boom.
portray
Then
pictures of yourself. Boom, you're you put yourself through college.
damn,
So
those
brilliant.
those
Those tits, man.
motherfucking scammers. That's a scam, man.
Is it though? Is it? I don't know.
They're just,
I feel like they're pretty smart.
yeah,
Not
it's
gonna
a
lie.
smart scam. But we do need those, right? Like for entertainment purposes. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a scam, right? They're not really tricking you. Like
No, it's work.
They're abusing the
it's work.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're abusing the system either. I think they,
It's like,
they're working with the system.
They're seeing a opportunity here. They see
Yeah,
there's a
man.
lot of dudes in this field. Why not?
With money, with money, even chump change, right?
loads. Yep.
Like even if it's chump change, a lot of chump change is a
Yeah,
lot
like
of money.
strippers. You get a bunch of $1.
Dollars.
Hey, it'll
Yeah.
turn into like $100.
Yeah, and what's cool is it's less detrimental to you. Like when you say you're a cosplayer, people are like, "Oh, so cool, yeah." But when you say you're a stripper, people are like, "Oh," you know.
Mhm.
So it's a smarter route.
Oh,
Doesn't have that social stigma to it.
it's even better because you don't have to give someone like a blowjob or whatever in the back room or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh shit, they found it. This is it.
yeah. This is the holy grail.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, maybe I don't know if I consider myself an otaku, but when I see girls that like, let's just say in Instagram, you guys seen like those girls that'll like have like a bunch of pictures of themselves. They're like models, but they have one picture that's a cosplay, and then they'll say like they're into anime or whatever. I'm just like, you motherfucker. It's like
Yeah, right.
obviously
They're like,
I don't know if they actually do watch anime and like in their spare time or whatever, but if it's just like you see like they have like 50 freaking pictures of like themselves, like I don't know, in bikinis or some sort of fashion, and then you have one picture of like them cosplaying, you just gonna I'm just like, dude, this is bullshit, man.
yeah, but at the same time, is a dangerous game, right? Because like women have this, they're blessed, really. Like if you don't have to be pretty, you just have to be cute, right? Like you don't even have to have a nice body. Like as long as you're cute, which most women are, sadly, like they're cute in some way. Like even the normal looking girls, some guy out there will find them attractive, right? And because they have this beauty as their resource when they're young, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like no young pretty girl will go hungry. Like there's always a thirsty man willing to help, right? That's our curse, right? But their curse is that, even though they have the power of beauty to generate money, they can only do it for so long, right? As after 25, they lose their collagen 2% per year, and it's detrimental, right? They can't keep up that beauty, right? Like once that wall, right? Once they hit that wall, there's more pretty girls out there, and it's going to replace. They spent all their time doing that kind of job in their 20s, and finding weak men. Like competent, powerful men do not want, you think they want those kind of girls, but they'll just play with you, right? They'll play with you once you're young and you're beautiful, and then they'll toss you away, right? And then they'll marry like a real woman, someone who's mature and can provide for their future kids. But we don't, sadly. Like that's why men can be more immature than women, because we can have kids like up till like 50, 60, right?
And obviously there's like those super rich old dudes that's like bald and fat as fuck, and then they have like girlfriends that's like 20 years old or whatever.
Yeah, and like dudes aren't like good looking, okay? Like that's not us. Like
Just the girls just
we're like,
have to pick like the
yeah, like
most
we're
less.
hairy, you know?
They have to figure out the less ugly dude out of
Yeah,
the
right?
bunch.
Like we have dicks. Like dicks are nasty, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, that Yeah, that's one of the things that I just don't like about the Instagram scene. It I don't freaking know how they're generating income from all this, but yeah, those people who
Yeah, right.
claim to
Like
be
when
anime
once you
lovers.
have once you have enough followers, you can do like you can sponsor some people or yeah, that's pretty good money.
Yeah, I understand it though. Like there's like so many ways of going through those stuff. Like just an example, uh, an analogy would be like a rock band. They'll claim to be Christian, and once they get enough followers and viewers to become big, you could say you're not Christian anymore, and then do like I don't know alternative or stuff like that. Just like for the sake of the generating the fans or the viewers.
Yeah, I feel like you can do that play too. You know, like you can bait them with boobs, and then like later on you can create something like something more meaningful. Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's a good bait. You know, you show them your good cards, and then they're stuck with you because
Yeah,
they feel like they have a connection with you now.
they're all fucking Medusas. They turn you to stone.
Yeah, and I like that Medusa is a
She's a what?
she's a
A woman?
as a woman. Yeah,
Oh,
I feel like that's very it's thought out. Like she's not a man for a reason,
yeah.
right? Because what's scarier than a beautiful woman, right? That when you go talk to her, it freezes you pretty much freeze, and now she has a it feels like she has a head full of snakes, right? Like that's probably terrifying men. You get turned to stone.
Um, it. Well, what about the male crossplayers? You think there's any room for them? It reminds me of this old man. He's like, I don't know. He looks like he's like 60 or 70 years old. He looks like Mr. Miyagi, but he's like dressed up as like Sailor Moon. I'm pretty sure it's like somewhere in the Google, but it's so it. I don't know. For some reason, when you say male cross, wait, is it crossplay?
Cause
Co-
oh, cross is like they
yeah,
is
they're
a cross is where they switch sexes. Yeah,
yeah. So it's like an old man dressed up as like a young high schooler girl with the what's it called, high socks, and then the camera panel it goes from the feet and up, so it looks like an actual chick's legs, and then once it gets to like the middle region, you're like, oh, okay, and then it just goes straight to his face, and it's like an old man, and it's hilarious.
yeah, it's like unexpected, right? Like yeah, that's funny. I
Oh
feel like
shit.
male cosplayer they've always been around, right? Like people always dress up to like Comic Con and shit. I feel like before Anime Expo was a thing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and and I feel like it's that like they'll still be popular because they were popular among other dudes. Like that's what's special about guys, right? Like we get together and we make our own hierarchy. Like we don't really care about like we do want a woman's love per se, but it's not possible for everyone, and therefore like the outcasts will make their own group, right? They'll have their own conventions or their own like tournaments and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
then like this one's weird because like now girls are invading it, and there's hope for these guys, even though like I said, it's a sample size of weak men, and I feel like it has to do with our society too, right? Like Like we're so mentally like distressed than any other generation, right? Like they have like trauma from like war and stuff, but we have like a different kind of pathology, like really bad mental hygiene, right? Like existential loneliness. We have that. Like they didn't have that, and we have like high suicide rates. Like people wanted to live back then. They didn't want to kill themselves. It's like unless you were being tortured or some shit, and even then they still wanted to live. So it's like really weird, and I think it affects women more than men, right? Women are more, uh, they're more like they tend to be like more depressed and I guess crazy.
Yeah, it's if you have a good looking face, and even if you're a dude, if you could cosplay and rock it, then hey, you're
Yeah,
gonna
you'll
make
make
money.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause guys will. I'm telling you, it's so easy to please guys, right? You just draw a stick figure, put two boobs on it, and it's like, hey, there you go. Right? Like we're not hard to please, especially when you're young.
It's actually disgusting. It is really disgusting.
Yeah, but you don't know. If you know, then it adds a different element to it, right? It's like reverse stereotype kind of thing. Like you want to be a hot girl, and then you find out the truth.
Yeah, it's like, oh well, it's too late to go back now. You gotta
Yeah,
commit.
right. Yeah, right. Like guys, like we'll look first thing indicator, right? We'll look for boob and ass. Like it's subconscious. Every guy does it just to check if you're a woman, right? And guys they can trick other dudes.
I think it's also if you just have long hair in general, you could
Yeah,
just
long
rock it.
hair is an indicator of that too. Like long hair, fair fingers, soft skin, face,
Yeah, it
small
was.
torso. I, I a lot of I guess Asians have that advantage because we have a small frame,
Mm,
so then we can pull off crossplay better.
it's gross. Like, I know at a certain point, I had like the surfer hair, which is kind of long, like medium, I guess you could say. And then if I was to like go to like a club back in the good old days, back when I was young, but I would have like a dude that'll like think I'm a chick, and then it was like the most disgusting shit ever. Cause like I'm like, I'm pretty sure I have like a not a feminine like shoulders at least, because I do work out, and it's just like they don't even give a shit about like how you physically look as long as you have like a certain trait of
They were
a
like,
chick.
this guy has a nice ass, but broad shoulders. Fuck
Fuck
him or her.
it. Well, gotta commit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, even if it's
Dudes
just
will
like
put their dicks in anything.
yeah, even if it was just like a one time thing, I kind of know like the disgusting feeling that girls get.
Yeah, it's really hard to empathize with women, right? Unless you have like a sister you really love. If you have a sister you hate, it's hard. But if you have like a sister you love, or like a daughter, then it's you've been sexually harassed yourself as a girl, then yeah, you'll feel that empathy.
Yeah, having a daughter would definitely be um it will make you be more overprotective and think of like like think of what you've done, I guess, or like what you've
Yeah, right.
seen.
Because you were a shitty guy, and she's gonna find
Fall
a
for
shitty
it.
guy
Yep.
attractive. Yeah, like because dudes lie all the time. They like like that's our strat, right? Like we can't get women based on the truth, or can't get girls based on the truth, right? It's different. Um, so it's like, we're self-conscious of them. It's hard for us to talk to them. So then we're like, we gotta trap them or something, or trick them. So it's
Nah,
like, that shit. So then like your father, you're like, ugh.
nah. I still believe that if you tell them the truth, there's still hope. They won't
Yeah, no,
friend zone you.
no, that's a good thing. You should always tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Like that way you protect yourself from shitty girls, right? And it protects yourself from future troubles too, right? Like if girls aren't smart enough to, when they weed you, because they always choose, right? Like some girls, when they choose you, they don't choose you for the present, they choose you for the future. And
That's
you know
rare.
yeah,
That is rare.
no, you think it's rare, but I don't think so. Like the reason why women find men who are, like the badass type or a jerk to them, there's evolutionary advantages to that, right? Like they have good genes, right? There's a survey actually that if women men who go for sperm donation, like they don't care about like education background or anything. It's all phenotype, right? They want someone with a good jawline. They want height is really important to them. They want someone who's good, strong,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they want, after they pick that, then they want different things. Oh, college educated, nice, empathetic, family values. They want like other shit, right? So at the same token, because girls are young, they have that built-in evolutionary selection, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So they select the most, I guess, power. This is based on them, right? It's subjective. Like if they think you're, powerful, you're a badass, like, it's like a phenotype scan. Like, oh, he's strong, he can protect me, right? I don't care if he's,
Yeah, it's a
or
natural thing, right?
yeah, yeah,
Since the
right.
longest time
But
ever, yeah.
yeah, right. That's why the story Beauty and the Beast is so, it's so good, right? Like Belle falls in love with the beast, right? Like he's a savage animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tame him. That's the key. Because she can tame him, he's super effective. Like, oh, he won't go sleep with other women. Like he's strong and powerful. He'll, give me a good son and he can protect me, right? And same fantasy, right? That's why they like pirates and vampires and shit. So like they're like, oh, they're badass, but I can tame him. That's why I like Twilight such a, and 50 Shades
So you're telling
bestseller.
me all I have to do is kidnap their dad and then trade him off like in Beauty and the Beast.
No, that's what, kidnap his dad. Kidnap
Yeah.
his dad is not the beast. The beast let him go.
No, but he said you have to stay to replace him. You don't remember that?
Yeah, but that's not the point. Like that's the plot armor. It's part of the plot. I mean, you could do that. Symbolic in a certain sense, right? Like a guy's mean to you, you find him attractive. He like bitch slaps the shit out of you. I don't know,
And then suddenly he turns into a good guy.
and then you convince him to love you. I
Oh,
don't know,
but
man. Like that's like a typical drama too, like a K drama. Like
you need a
guy from
Gaston.
you do. No, Gaston is such a good character, right? Like he's there to help the beast, get. Yeah, you need a Gaston. He's like the best wingman or some shit.
Yep. And then Gaston needs a wingman too.
Yeah, Gaston don't need a wingman, but he was a good wingman. I'll give him that.
Damn.
All right. That's our plan, right? Like, one of us acts as Gaston. Like, we'll whistle. We'll go to like a bar or something with food, and then like we'll whistle at the bartender or
But I don't have a
seem
double chin.
seem like a total jerk, and then you'll come in and save the day, and then
Boom, there it is, a strategy.
yeah.
And then once
Wingman
you get that
101.
girl, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, gotcha, bitch. And then we'll carry the secret to our grave. Bro code.
We'll call it the Beauty and the Beast strat.
Yeah.
Yep. There it is. I don't know. That's all I got. I think we covered it. The positive.
Oh shit. No, I mean, it's good, man. It's good entertainment. Just be careful,
It's
right? Like, be careful what you feed your mind.
for everything. There's like
Like
a fine line to how much you could take into like the real world.
yeah, but like
But
for visual entertainment, it's more deadly, right? Because we can process visual information faster than any other senses, right?
mhm.
Like like you see one picture, right? There's information, right? And because anime has vision and it has sound, if it had taste, like you would, and smell, you would be like super fucked if you had the if you were exposed to the wrong media. Like, people think that like your subconscious mind is not important, but they're wrong. Like, everything you do say, it's all subconscious. So try not to feed yourself too much shit anime, I guess.
Or keep it to yourself, or just share only with your other fellow
Well, this
otaku.
is well, this is for you, right? Your own personal well-being.
Yeah, it's a hobby. I'm talking in terms of a hobby. Like you got to
Yeah,
take it
but
as a hobby. You can't like fucking.
well, you can't, right? Because it's subconscious. Like, if you like doing it, you should be very careful. You should not indulge in what's bad for you, I guess. Like, because there's good anime, and then there's bad anime, and then there's, you seem like it's different genre, right? Like, for example, like hentai is an anime. You don't want to watch that all the time, because then that desensitizes you.
I mean, unless there's a certain factor that you want to amplify in your occupation or whatever. If you let's just say if you're like an artist, and you like that kind of art style, hey.
Yeah, but then it corrodes your soul, right?
I don't know. I don't know about that. What do you mean, like subconsciously it does?
Yeah, you like the reason why like sex is such a sin is because it uh, it's one of the things that has deep meaning. So anything, like I said, right, anything with deep meaning, it's like a double-edged sword. It has deep hurt and sorrow. So
Mm-hmm.
like sex is the same thing. Like, it's supposed to be important, it's supposed to be intimate, and wrong, obviously malevolent ways to show that. And if you keep exposing yourself to malevolent ways, even though it might be your fetish, right? If you keep exposing yourself to it, it ingrains in your subconscious mind, and it's difficult to escape it because you embody that, right?
Oh, okay.
Like, if you, I don't know, want to go into too deep.
It's like watching porn for the plot. No? Okay. All right. Well, maybe it's just me then.
I mean, like, I don't know, like girls, that's how they like it too. Like, they like the plot and the story, That's why like romance is like their porn.
I guess, but I think it just differs per person.
Yeah,
Like there's people who get satisfaction over just talking instead of, actually physically having sex.
fine if for some reason you don't view it as wrong, then it's fine. But I'm saying if you're watching it and you know it's wrong, you shouldn't do it as often because that corrodes your soul, right? Because it helps you practice willful blindness. Like you know it's wrong, but you still do it, right? It starts with one habit and then it goes to the next. Like, okay, watching porn is wrong. If you truly believe that, don't do it as often, right? If you do, then another habit will. It's like, oh, smoking is wrong, but I'm still gonna do it. Oh, I should, file my taxes today, but I'm not gonna do it because, like, and then it keeps it has catastrophic effects building up, and it becomes your personality.
Okay. I gotcha, buddy. I get what you're saying. Oh shit. I was like messing with my mic. And then I forgot that the stream picks up a lot of the shit besides Discord, because Discord, anyways, yeah. Okay. Sorry guys. Whoever was listening and you heard like a lot of squeaking and stuff. That was me trying to fix the mic. All right. Boom. There it is. Is there anything you want to add, Tim? You think we touched the baselines?
Yeah, I mean, we got off topic a lot, so it's kind of weird, but...
Yeah. Okay. Shit. Fuck. We're gonna be going to Anime Expo, right? We're gonna be being in that scene with a lot of otakus. I'm gonna be seeing a lot of cosplayers and probably gonna say fuck you, you bitch, taking all our money. Here's my $100.
That is rude. Don't do that.
What? I'm like insulting them, but also giving them what they're doing it for.
You're hurting their pride. It's not good.
Really? You think that even if they're ripping or taking advantage of the otakus, that they still have pride?
Yeah, everyone has pride.
Yeah.
In their own way.
I don't know. I think that would be like a hypocrite.
So if you go up to some cosplayer, here, bitch, take $100. I don't think that's gonna fly with a lot of. Like, sure, it's 100, but is it worth getting?
Okay, well, obviously, no matter who it is, if you say, "Hey, bitch, here's," or at least a chick, right? You say, "All right, bitch, here's $100. Good job." Which I'm pretty sure you don't even have to be a cosplayer to be offended. Okay.
Yeah, seems like a bad plan.
Okay, well, obviously.
Like, they'll take your money out of spite, and then they'll probably have resentment towards you.
Okay. Obviously, I don't have enough courage to do that, so I wouldn't.
I don't know.
But
man.
in my mind, I'll be like, man, this chick is probably scamming the shit out of everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, hey man, $100 is $100. It's like $100 is $100, but fuck you, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can't eat pride, so.
Yeah.
And buy 50 tacos without. Oh wait, no, tacos are like 130 though. Never mind.
Yep.
Inflation. Thanks to minimum wage.
Shit. So Andrew Yang 2020.
Man, you guys probably didn't even assign yourself as Democrats, huh?
I'm just, hey man, he's Asian and first Asian president. I don't know if you want to create a purge or what it is, but I gotta represent, or he's representing the Asian culture, the Asian brother. Okay, well, anyways, that's it for today. Thank you guys for coming. Thank everyone for listening to our retarded ass debate. Not really a debate, argument. Yeah, stay safe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and yeah, thank you guys.